Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Boom's Pop-Up Podcast. This is something new I'm trying for the channel. You know, when I decided to make my own channel on YouTube, I wanted to bring something new and different. And of course, I wanted it to be fun for the community. So today, my guest is going to be the only person that responded that actually could be here, because plenty of people responded. Most people were at work, but I want to give a big thank you right out of the gate to Creating Beyond Limits, because he and I have been friends since I was first guesting on Coffee Casuals and Consoles, and then of course eventually Mel was nice enough to make me a regular panel member. So Dean and I have just we've been talking since I left the show to start my own thing. And he responded today. Dean, thank you so much for coming on this new thing for my channel. Um, you know, how you been?
Well, right now everything's going well. YouTube channel's been going well. Been slowing down on the content a little bit, but because life busy. But overall, I'm having a great time. Everything's been going well. The videos are doing better than I can hope for. Lots of awesome games are releasing. State Decay being one that we'll get more into, if that's going to be awesome or not. But everything, I can't really complain about anything, is what I'm saying. I'm lucky enough that I can say that. Right now in life in general and stuff, like me and my fiance, we're going through the process. We're about to start to try get a house. So we're really looking forward to that, and hopefully everything goes well. And yeah, as BoomStick said, we go back to Coffee Casuals and Consults. Right now, I'm still lucky enough to be on that show. And when Boom was on it, we just had a fantastic time every week, talking news and gaming. So this is just amazing. The fact that I don't know if you literally just thought of doing this new show today, but I love how fast you got it up and off the ground. That was amazing, man. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, listen, dude, thank you very much. I mean, believe it or not, how this transpired was very simple. I was at the gym doing my regular workout, and I was going to come home to basically do a review of State of Decay 2 on my channel. And I've been kind of toying around with the Boom's pop-up podcast thing for a bit. And I figured, you know what? Let me throw it out there to the community, see if anybody else wanted to discuss it. Of course, you responded, and I cannot thank you enough because, again, I'm retired. A lot of people are working, and I completely understand. That's why I call it Boom's Pop-Up Podcast. But one thing I want to just talk about immediately is that if you saw my tweets about how excited I was with getting State of Decay 2 from Amazon, and I'm talking about the Ultimate Edition, which is $50, I have to tell everyone that, when I was a kid, my dad, who was an amazing man, taught me a whole lot of things that I'll never forget. And one of the most important things was to admit when you were wrong with something. And that's what I'm going to do right here live on the air. I got swept up into the negativity storm of the media when it came to State of Decay 2. Now, granted, I never really dumped on the game because I wanted to play it first before making an opinion, which I think, of course, is always the right thing to do. But I returned my copy of the Ultimate Edition because I was like, well, if it seems like the media hates it. There are a lot of people talking about bugs. A lot of people are having issues. And money, of course, is not as plentiful as it used to be. So I have to spend my dollars wisely. So I returned it because I've been a supporter of Game Pass since the beginning. And I figured, all right, you know what? Let me play it on Game Pass and see. And, man, I have to tell you, I started on Tuesday when it launched, and I have not stopped playing. I am 35 hours deep into this game. I am 3 communities deep into this. I think it's one of my favorite games of 2018. I also want to say that I don't know if these reviewers on any of these big sites gave it a chance. But being 35 hours into it, I've seen many ups and downs. I can't say I've had a lot of bugs, but I want to be completely transparent. I have not played multiplayer, and I've heard horror stories, and I've also heard great things, like, for instance, Dealer Gaming I'm a huge fan of his work. I think the guy is absolutely fantastic. He really knows what he talks about. I'm a big fan of his show, RDX Podcast. He did a review on it, and he's been out there literally leading the charge in this game. And I have to stand right beside him. Dean, what is your take on State of Decay 2? How much has this game proven the reviewers wrong?
Well, since you haven't played multiplayer, I guess I'll start with that because I have put
Okay.
at least 8 to 10 hours into multiplayer. I did play it a good bit with my friend. Everything seems to be fine. Like, there are some bugs and glitches. I didn't have any real lag. Like, there was some stuttering and stuff like that. But I was playing it with my friend that also lives in Ireland, and we both have pretty good internet connections. So we weren't playing. I wasn't playing with anyone like from America or anything like that. So
Okay.
I don't know what the peer-to-peer connection would be like doing it that way. The biggest glitch that I ran into was my inventory. I was in his game, and the supply box in the base was not there for me. So
okay.
I wasn't able to drop anything in or anything like that. So that was kind of really annoying. So for like 2 hours that I was playing it with him, I wasn't able to drop that in.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
I wasn't going to quit the game just to fix it because I was already annoyed. I was like, fuck it, I'll just still play. And that was the biggest issue that I had. There is a whole tethering system in the game where you can only go so far away from the host. Like, it is pretty generous. Like, if anyone's complaining about that system, because if you go too far away, you get prompted with a message saying that you're going too far. If you go any further, you will be teleported close to the host.
Okay.
But when you look at your map, when you look at your map in the host's game, you can see like a circle of how far you can go away from the host. The host can't see this, only you can when you're looking at the map. But it's pretty big, so you can, especially if you're playing co-op, you're going to be together as much as possible. You're not going to be going super far away. I know some people thought this was going to be completely open, where you can go from one end of the map to the other, like just be as far away as possible. But unfortunately, you can't do that. And this system with the distance that you can is not the worst thing. So that didn't bother me. But for some, you have to be aware because you don't want to be thinking one thing to get it and then find out that there is a tethering system in the game. But I played Far Cry 5. It is Far Cry 5, right? That was the newest one. There's so many Far Cry.
Yes, that's
so
correct.
many of them. That has a tethering system, and that is god-awful. You cannot go far at all from the other person in Far Cry without getting teleported. So this State of Decay is a lot more generous with how far away you can go from one another. So yeah, overall, I'm really enjoying the game. I was also looking at all the negative reviews when it released, and I was like, oh, is this just negative reviews because it's a Microsoft game? Is it getting judged unfairly? Are people shitting on it? Like, are they just being too harsh because it has a few glitches here and there? But like when I played it myself, I did run into a good few bugs and glitches in single player. Not just talking about the multiplayer. I'll go into the biggest one and the most annoying one, which I just said to you before.
We were talking off the air. I want you to tell people that's heartbreaking. It could have been heartbreaking if it didn't end the way it did.
Yeah, it's like take a breath. Just thinking about it just brings back sad times and anger you never want to feel. So yeah, I was playing State of Decay, and I'm pretty sure it was nighttime at the time. I was playing as my main character that I put the most time into. Literally main this character more than anyone. High level, have all the stats maxed out near, I think. And basically I was on just thinking about it really makes me angry. My whole button prompts were not working. My mini map disappeared. It wasn't showing up. It was just like my screen. There was nothing clogging up the screen, like no map, no button presses, nothing like that. So when a zombie jumped on me, I like the X button. You know the way when a zombie jumps on you, you press X, knock them away. Like that wasn't popping up. Like I was there, X, 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 X. and the zombie was just like it was hungry, so I wasn't letting go. And like they just started like ripping my character apart, and I was like, no, not like this. This is not how my main, like, she killed so many juggernauts, so many pharaohs. This is not how it happens. Just a random supply drop, like an easy run. This
Wow.
was supposed to be easy. And a glitch literally just got ripped in half, and I quit the game as it was happening because I was like, no, this is not how it happens. I pressed the Xbox button, quit, in the hopes that like it would turn it off before she died, because I'm not one to do that, but a glitch is not going to kill my character.
Right. Well, especially if it's your main character. I mean, forget
Yeah,
about
like,
it. The whole game would be ruined at that point, I think.
yeah, like as I turned the game off and rebooted it, I got on my phone and I was literally so angry. Like, Boom knows I'm not someone to get like super angry and put lots of negative things on Twitter or on my YouTube channel or anything like that. But like, I was like Undead Labs, like just writing a super angry message about like the bugs and glitches, like getting so pissed off. But as I turned my game on, it did go back a little bit and my character was alive. So I was very happy, and
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I just closed my phone and put it down. I was like,
And you walked away, and you walked away with the anger.
yeah, I was like, I need a minute. It was like I was not ready for that loss. Like, that would have hit me so hard, and I would have been like so negative towards the game, because like a character that you put so much time into,
Yes,
just get killed so shit. So shit.
yeah, I had something very similar happen to me. And it nearly again, like very similar to you. One of the biggest issues that I think needs to be addressed with this game is when you're driving the vehicle, you get hung up on anything. I mean, it could be a pebble, it could be a hair from your head, it could be a piece of a zombie in the road, and somehow or another your vehicle goes into flip mode and you get stuck. So that happened to me. Now, granted, I was going down a hill and had plenty of room, and somehow or another my vehicle got hung up and it flipped on its side. So at this point, it's at night. I think I might have had a total of 4 health items. I think I might have had 20 or 30 rounds in my gun. And it was supposed to be just a regular run to a shed, do a quick run, because I don't like going out at night. I do, but I'm always terrified because you can't see anything. This game is dark. And you know what? I understand a lot of people complain about the darkness, but you also have to think of the realism. None of the lights are working because the power's out everywhere. So if you've ever been in the country, like for instance, when I go way upstate to do shopping with my wife on the way back, when we're coming through the mountains, there are hardly any lights. It's dark. So if you shut your light off, you're not seeing anything. So that there is a sense of realism, but there's no excuse for me to lose a major character. Now, that particular character was like yours, the leader of my group. All of her stats were maxed out, so gold across the board. And what wound up happening is I came across, of course, not only just regular zombies, but a feral. So I'm like, oh man. So I'm trying to get away. I'm running out of steam. I keep using health. I'm trying to stand on the car. Every time I stand on the car, I fall off. So at the last minute, just before I was ready to die, I was like, you know what? I'm going to shut this off and see what happens. And it turns out that, like you, it started me back where my character was not dead from a glitch. But what was
well, that's
terrifying is that I could not get back into the truck. And I literally, when I tell you I had a smidgen, I'm talking like a line, like take a hair off your head. That's how much health I had left. And I was about a mile away from the base. Sweat was coming down my head. I said, my God, if I get back to the base, I'm never going to leave again alone. And sure enough, somehow or another, I killed 10 zombies on the way there quietly, didn't run into any bloaters or any tanks or anything like that, and was able to get back to the base. And, you know, when that happened, I took the controller, I put it down, I said, you know, I need a moment. I need to take a couple of breaths.
The game does do that, all right.
Yes, the game is okay. Now we explained our glitches. Now I'm going to say this. I'm 35 hours, maybe closer to 38 hours. And I've only had maybe 2 or 3 of them. Again, transparency, folks. I only played single player, and I'm enjoying it that way. I don't mind helping people, and I certainly don't mind people jumping into the game. It's just that sometimes the game is good if you have 30 minutes to play. You go out, you do a couple of runs, you come back, you stop the game, and you keep it moving. That's what I think I really enjoy about the game. To me, anyway, I think that you can play for 5 hours or you can play for 35 minutes and still get the same enjoyment. Dean, what is your take on this?
Well, yesterday morning, I jumped on State Decay. I think I got up super early, so it was like 8 a.m. by the time I went on the Xbox, because I was up at like 7. And I was like, I'll play State of Decay for probably like an hour, half an hour, and I'll go eat or something, because that's important. Then I turned the game on, played it, looked at my phone, was like nearly 4 hours later, and I was like, wow, because like I literally, when I turned on, I just put my earphones in, like headset, and just was all like, okay, let's play State of Decay, do some supply runs and all that shit, and it's like so much time went when I looked at my phone. Yes. I was like, wow. It's a good thing I didn't have anything to do today.
Yeah, very quickly you can evaporate 2 or 3 hours in this game. Like a perfect example, I think on Saturday, my wife was working on the computer doing something, and I just was playing, not thinking about anything else. And 3 hours came and went in the snap of a finger, and it was like, holy cow. Now, I am going to say, I don't know how anyone else is playing the game. And I think that's what's really fantastic about this, because you can ask 100 people and you'll get 100 different stories. And I think that's what makes a great game. Now, it does, of course, have its issues. There's no doubt about it. To say that as a Microsoft fan that I'm not disappointed this is not running on Azure servers would be an understatement of 2018. I think that when you are confident in a title, when you're a major backer like Microsoft and you have the money that they have, because I know that's been a lot of discussion, Microsoft with their money, what are they doing with it? This is a game that could have used the ability of running on dedicated servers, and I think it really undersells the confidence that Microsoft had in this game. And it's a shame because, after all of the negativity and all the bugs and all the dumping that this game has had on it, it is really a fantastic game. And without even giving our review, because we're going to do that at the end, I would gladly see this showing up in my top 10 for 2018. That's how much fun I'm having with it. But I want to discuss like the base building aspect. There's, how I'm playing the game, how I'm attacking the game is, when you first start out, you're obviously new and you're wary, and you have to get used to the controller and going out at night and getting your characters up to date. How I play the game is I'll basically take an area and I will pick it literally clean, even if it takes me a day or two to pick an area clean. And then with all the star points that I'm saving up, I then go buy another base. I'm now at my 4th base, and it is by far the biggest one. And I'm absolutely loving it. I have space all over the place. I'm actually running, I think 6 or 7 people in my base. It has a green smile, which I'm very, very proud of. My rations everything is maxed out. I'm constantly, updating. How do you attack this game? Do you do that? Or do you don't go too far until you've picked an area clean and then buy something else? Or how do you go at it?
Well, right now, I'm around 20 something hours in, or close to that. And I'm still at the first base, like on the map, your first location that you start. I haven't moved even to a different part on the map yet because I haven't needed to. All my characters are, well, actually, I think they're depressed because someone just died. But other than that, I think they're all right. I have like enough supplies in everything, so I haven't needed to move. And the area still has stuff going because I do like going far out from like every now and again just to explore. So I find things and bring it back without draining out the whole first part of the map. So I will be moving pretty soon. I've played a lot of State of Decay on the 360 and the Xbox One version. Like, State of Decay is a franchise and a series that I love. I've been waiting years for this game. I remember when the first one came out, on the 360. Me and my friends, we were down in a mobile that we had for a few days. So we were away from everyone when the game released. And we were all hyped and excited for it. When it dropped, I got a train home, got my Xbox, downloaded the game because we didn't have internet at the mobile. So I brought the Xbox with us back. I got the train back the same day with the game downloaded. So we could all just stay in the mobile and just play it together. It's gone back a few years, like when it happened. But yeah, we were all very happy with the first game.
I mean, there is no right or wrong way to play this, of course, unless you kill all your characters. I am going to say this, though. I am going to say this. I think that the game itself does a bit of a disservice in regards to picking. Okay, when you first start out the game, you're given a choice of 4 different pairs of people, right? You know, the brother, sister, the military. You know, you have a little bit of everything, and their stats really stink. So while I was achievement hunting on this game, and I have over 600, I think I have 605 unlocked. I don't know if I'm going to get to the 1,000 because there's a lot of ones that, like, for instance, you know, trying to destroy those hearts, even with a maxed out character, is always.
Is there multiplayer only achievements? Is there?
I don't think that there is. I have yet.
Oh, again, good, then.
I have yet to play multiplayer, and I have 605 of them. So I don't think so. I just think that it has a lot to do with what they're asking you to do. But what I found to be better is after doing the initial tutorial. Which is fine. You know, it does what it does. I started 2 other communities, in each one in a different area. There was an achievement for that. And my 3rd community, I rolled 3 characters these 3 female characters that were absolutely fantastic. One of them, and I did a tweet about this last week, which was amazing. One of her traits were that she was a Halo champion, and her shooting was 1 star away from maxed out. So,
nice.
I mentioned it on last week's show. It does prove that you can, you know, video games will help you in the apocalypse. And none of those 3 characters have yet to die. I have them all maxed out with gold stats across the board. But I think that, and my advice is, if you're not happy with the 4 pairs of people, go through the tutorial, back out of the game, and start a new community where you can roll your 3 characters. Because I think it really does you a service as a gamer to have the ability to roll the character, and you don't roll them all, you know, in one shot. You roll them individually. So if you get one, you're like, okay, I like her or I like him. His stats are amazing. You go on to the next one, and you just keep re-rolling until you find what works for you. And that's exactly what I did. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
You'll probably have a better attachment to the characters straight off also.
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
There. So yeah, that actually sounds like a really good thing to do. If I wasn't so far already in my game with my characters, like, it took me a while to get attached to the character, because all the characters that I was picking from, none of them really like rang a bell or like connection instantly or anything like that. Nothing against the characters or anything like that. The stats is like what I'm talking about. There was nothing really there that I was like, eh. But if I was able to just roll like that and just see until I got someone that I really liked, and I was like, oh yeah, this character is badass, I'm totally gonna keep this character alive as long as possible. That sounds like a much better way to do it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you know, to really, you know, I want to beat this game, and I don't know exactly, you know, like the area that I'm in. I know that I've come across, you know, I did the search where there are 2 open other areas, and I went to one of them thinking that I could go in and come back, and it turned, when you get there, it tells you, hey, listen, once you're in, you can't come back to this area. So I was like, oh man, you know, I want to keep looking and seeing. Like, I have like 5 different groups of people I'm dealing with. They're all friendly. I have unfortunately in my first community, the only character I lost wasn't from a zombie attack. It was actually, I got jumped by a bunch of humans that tried to steal my stuff, and they wound up killing my main character. So of course I was devastated. And then when I started looking at the achievements, I said, you know what? Let me open up a couple other communities. And I've got to be honest, I have a total of 3 communities, and I'm playing the 3rd one. I have not gone back to the other 2. I definitely want to beat it. I don't know how far I am from beating it, because I'm 35 hours deep, but my characters are maxed out. I am, I have to say, this game, Dean, you said something that made me, I didn't think about this for when I decided to do the pop-up podcast as one of my points of view. But you said something when you first started talking about, you don't know whether or not this game got the hate because it sucks and it has glitches, or is it because it's a Microsoft game? And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the chat, and big shout out to everyone that popped up today. It's greatly appreciated. Like I said in my opening, I want to try some new things, and this might be something that continues. And we'll see how it goes. So I want a big thank you to everyone in the chat that showed up. It's greatly appreciated. But I kind of want to touch on what you said. And again, this is a review and a discussion of State of Decay 2. But I don't think that we could have something like this and not discuss the possibility of it getting a point or 2 lower, because again, either the game is glitchy and it's terrible and it's unplayable, or is it because it's a Microsoft game and now we're comparing it to God of War and Detroit Become Human? What do you think, Dean? Because I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about this.
Well, I seen lots, I watched a shit ton of reviews for this game when it came out, because lots of reviews started coming out very soon with the whole Ultimate Edition and stuff like that. So there were reviews that I seen that were giving it 7s, and I think I saw some 8s, but I seen lots of ones that were giving it below 5 and stuff like that. And after playing the game myself, it's this isn't a 5. Especially from people that say they love the first one and then they give this one a low score and say, it's just more of the same. But how can you say that if you're someone that actually loved the game, the first one, as much as you say? Because I just told you that I played the first one. I love to have an awesome a story that I attach my friends with, where we just played it for ages. State of Decay 1 and State of Decay 2, there's not much difference between them. It is more the same, and that's just being honest.
Okay.
They did smoothing out the gameplay a lot. It's a lot more the frame rate is better. The shooting is so much better in this game compared to the first one.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt. Yes.
But overall, it's the same thing. You have your base, you build your base, and you go out and do your runs. This one has 3 maps. The first one had 1 map. Other than the gameplay improvements and small little additions that they made to this game, it is more of the same. But if you're a fan of the first game, why would that bother you? I know you can be disappointed that you are probably expecting a lot more, but at the same time, you can't obviously hate the second one that much if you love the first one so much. You know what I'm saying?
I absolutely agree. I played anywhere between 6 and 8 hours between the 360 and, of course, the Game of the Year edition on the Xbox One of the original State of Decay. And I have a horror story, which I'll tell the fans. I put maybe about, it might be more than 8 hours. It could be somewhere around 10 or 12, give or take. I had put a significant amount of time into the Xbox 360 character that you start out with.
Marcus.
Yes, and he was one of my favorite characters, obviously, because you when you first start off with him, you're learning about him, right? So you're getting an attachment to this character. And I went out at dusk, and I had put about maybe 10 hours into this character. It could be longer. Again, it wasn't a 360, so I don't really remember, but it was a significant amount of time. I was doing exactly what I'm doing now, going out with a car, scavenging, 2 or 3 places, and then going back, and taking a break, and then, whatever. And I went out and I got caught out there and I got surrounded, and I wound up dying. And I got to tell you, man, I was so depressed that I didn't come back to the game for days. I just didn't.
It was that on the state.
I just didn't want to be bothered. I was so upset that character, listen, I'm going to be honest. If it was some no-name Joe, I wouldn't have cared. But because I put so much time into this character, it really makes you appreciate the permadeath. And like I said, we're going to discuss it now because we're talking a little bit off the air about going out at night. I got to tell you, man, this game does something that I have not experienced in many games, because obviously there's permadeath. So if you have a character that you really care about, and I think that when you get your characters with gold status across the board, you obviously care about that character and you care about their story because you're creating their story. I literally sweat. Like I'm nervous going out. Like I go out and it's not too far. I'll go out maybe a block, maybe two, pushing the envelope on 3. But I wait when someone's like, for instance, the soldiers in one, they were looking for a generator. I had it, but it was pitch black out. And I'm like, well, you know what? I think you guys could wait till the morning. You have a lot of guns. And I went back in the morning, did the mission. Everyone was happy, and I got a bunch of stuff. But going out at night is terrifying. And I know I understand it's a game. Okay, we know it's not real life, but man, this game could be very stressful at times. Do you feel the same way, Dean?
Yeah, I hate going out at night, but at the same time, I love it. It's a love-hate relationship I have with the whole. Like, I really do appreciate the fact that they're not, when they say it's nighttime, they mean it's freaking nighttime. You're not going to be able to see it, and like we said, like everything's pitch black. Like, you're going to be struggling to see what's further out, and you're always on edge. Especially, like, I don't know about you, but I find the Juggernauts pretty easy to kill. It's the Pharaohs that scare the shit out of me.
Yes,
sometimes.
well, the Pharaohs are fast. They're fast, and they take a significant amount of damage. Even when you're whacking them with a brand new weapon, you will break a weapon on them, and then you're in real trouble.
Yeah, like, they watch The Matrix. They know how to do all that bullet dodge. Yeah, so they just like go side to side, and they're just there running and tackling you, and you're just like trying to run to your car, and they're just like rolling with you, and it's like, no, get away from me, get away. I'm prepared. I'm all out of ammo. I have barely anything. My character has been out for like probably like a day. Like, the stamina's depleted, my health is very low. You know, the way the more tired your character gets. Like, yes. I let that stamina bar go down to like basically nothing before I make my character come back. It's like, nah, you're not going until I say you're going. You need to get good shit before it's worth going home. And that's probably why the characters die, I guess. It's like, how can they get away from a Pharaoh when I don't have any weapon, like guns or anything, and my stamina is like literally non-existent. So when they're jumping on me, I'm like, oh shit. But Pharaohs, I love the Pharaohs.
Yeah, I mean, I love the variation of like, for instance, like, you know, the bloaters. Sometimes you're driving this game.
They pop out of nowhere.
Yeah, they teach you to pay attention, because there were a couple of times where I didn't see a bloater that was in the road that was down, and you hit it, and everyone's choking in the car, and you got to get out, and you got to, oh my God, you're running. And I'm like, okay, please don't let be a horde be around the corner, or a feral, because I'm blind, I can't fight, and I have to, in order to get back in the car, you got to wait for all of that stinky stuff to go away. So it really teaches, if you listen, I'm going to say this, if you're an arrogant gamer, you will not like this game, because this game teaches you to be humble. You have to really appreciate the time that you're alive, because again, if you care about your characters, and I find myself really attached to the 3 female characters that I have because of so much work that went into what they carry, putting silencers on all of their weapons, because and that's the thing.
That's actually a good idea. I should probably do that.
Yeah, the bigger bases you get, the more detailed and levels of what you can build them. Like, all of my medical's level 3, my gunsmith is level 3. I went out and found that, like, the last one that I bought cost 1,000 of the star points, but I found a base that was 3,500 of them, which is a ginormous base, which I want to get. But you know, you have to save up, and like I said, I did not think that I was going to be really into the managing of the items, because, you know, you find all of these items and you have to sell them, you know, to try and make more of the star points. You know, you have to do missions for everyone. Everyone's always complaining. Like, for instance, like in the beginning, it was every message I was getting, it was like, oh, they're depressed, or they're, you know, they have
they're a very picky bunch, aren't they?
Very, very picky. I mean, sometimes, you know, you'd like for them to get off their ass and maybe go out and scavenge for themselves a bit, instead of you doing it. But yeah, it is. I have to say that I've really, really enjoyed my time with this. I think that it does serve Game Pass very well. I think that it is, if you have Game Pass, you should definitely give it a try. I mean, the game is certainly not for everyone, and I totally get that. Like, I understand that, you know, the permadeath turns people off, and
it is a scary feature, but it's amazing.
Yes, and the base managing and managing each person. You know, you have to talk to everyone. You have to bring them out with you, so you're sure that you care. You know, I've only lost, I want to say, since 35 hours in, I think I've only lost 3 characters in total. Like, I'm like really, really careful. Like newer characters, like new recruits, they don't go past a block or 2. You know what I'm saying? Until I can get their stamina up, or I can get their some of their skills have to be at least mid range.
What's it? The 2 characters that I lost, the reasons for their death are 110% my fault.
Really?
Yeah, like the first character that I lost was the girlfriend of the main girl that I was playing, because I picked the female couple, and she, you know, the way in the story one of them gets infected of the other.
Yes.
Like, so she was infected for a little bit, and I finally was all like, okay, I'll cure you now. It's time for you to do your part in the community. So I cured her, and I was like, okay, forced mission, playing as this girl. It's time to go on a big supply run. You're not, like, I'm just thinking to myself, you're not coming back until you got a lot of shit. You've been infected for a while. You cost this. You had to use resources. Now it's time to go out and get some. And I literally just stayed out for so long with the character. She got exhausted. She got tired. And I don't even know why she died, to be honest. Like, I have the clip recorded because she wasn't infected. Like, she had no health.
Really?
Like, her health was non-existent. Like, it was like a tiny little bit, and I was just running around looking for food or something to like get to heal myself. I climbed up on the ladder to a building, and then I was just looking around, and then she just died.
Really? Like, holy! I got a funny story. You're talking about death. This goes to show you that you ever heard of Riff? Reading is fundamental. Well, apparently I did not read. So I get back to my base, and somebody was infected. Now this is freaking hilarious. I lost 3 characters, but I killed one of them, and it said I click on to talk to them, and I swear it said encourage. Like, to say, don't worry, we're going to find you a cure. And it said euthanize. And I hit euthanize, not realizing that I was going to shoot this character in the head. And that's exactly what happened. So I hit the button to like encourage, like, maybe you're going to give him a pat on the ass or something. Like, don't worry, we're going to find you a cure. And it takes out the gun and says, I'm sorry, it had to be this way. Boom. And I'm like, what just happened? Are you kidding me? Yeah, so I euthanized my own character because why? I didn't read the fine print.
Oh man, see, that's the thing. If it's not a bug or a glitch, which eventually they will get fixed. Like I say, Undead Labs are committed to this game, and Microsoft have already put up a thing saying that they have 1 million people playing the game, and expect patches and stuff. So Undead Labs will fix it. It will take time, because I'm pretty sure they're not that very big of a development team. So it will take some time to fix some of the bigger issues, but it could be actually sooner, depending on the priority and how long and hard it is to actually fix these issues. But like I was saying, most of the deaths, unless it is due to one of the glitches that we experienced, it is going to be on you for either not reading the text and accidentally shooting your person.
Dude, I was so mad at myself. I'm like, oh my God, how did I get confused? Encourage and euthanize. I don't understand it.
I guess you gotta read the fine print. But
Yeah,
like I said, I don't know what happened to my character. Like I just was on top of a roof, and then she just lied on the ground and turned into a zombie. But I didn't have a timer or anything like that. She wasn't infected. I know what it's like when your character gets infected and you have a timer to say how long do you have to turn. Like I think she died from exhaustion. Like if that can happen, that's what happened to her. No stamina, no health, and then she just like, I'm done. And then I was like, then I had to go as my main character. It was our girlfriend, and just like butcher her up and was like, I'm sorry, because she turned into a zombie. So I had to put her for
oh
misery.
yeah.
So I thought it was a pretty cool dynamic story that happened. She goes out on her first mission after getting cured, and she just turns into a zombie. The other character that I lost out of the two was the soldier girl. I think she's in all this. I don't know her name, but she was a soldier, and I was playing her for just not as much as my main character, but she was the one that I was putting the second most time into leveling up and going out on supply runs. And I seen a Juggernaut, and I was like, Juggernauts are not a challenge in this game because I already killed a good few at this point. And like I said, the Pharaohs are scary sometimes. So I was like, I'll just play with this Juggernaut for a little bit, like going around shooting him with a pistol and stuff. And then he got me. He
Oh
grabbed me
man.
and he ripped me in half.
Oh,
I really was just like, just kill this Juggernaut for fun. Like I could have ignored it. I got super cocky. So this was 110% my fault. Like
yeah,
he got a
yes. When you
nice
start
grab
to
on
feel
me.
that again, it's that arrogance. When you start to feel too sure of yourself, and that's exactly what happens.
Like I had to accept that like that was my fault. I got cocky. I was all like, he's not gonna do it, and I'm just gonna run around and shoot him and dodge him. And he got a grab on me. He saw like, stop messing with me, grab, and I'm like, no, don't do it, just slam me on the ground or so. And he's like, nope. And I was like, no.
Yeah, that sucks, especially when you try. And again, you know what? For a big thing, he's fast. Like when he starts up to charge at you, you're not getting out of the way. I mean, I've seen some pretty amazing gameplay. Actually, I saw a good friend of the show, Jez Corden for Windows Central. He had a something up on Twitter, I think the other day, where I commented on it. I mean, this guy was rolling around like a Ninja Turtle. I mean, there was like 6 or 7 zombies and a Juggernaut, and he took them on, and it was at night. So, you saw the red eyes everywhere, and this guy was just rolling around, and he not only killed all the zombies, but he took down the Juggernauts all by himself, single-handedly. I mean, it was complete badassery at its finest. And I think I might have tweeted at him with those exact words. That was absolutely phenomenal. But I am going to say this. I've been, reading a lot of tweets from so many people in the community. And it's these kinds of stories that I love reading, because everyone has something horrifying or really cool to say. I mean, again, if your character does die from a glitch, that is unacceptable in 2018 for gaming. I'm sorry. And again, if that happens, I'm really sorry for you. And Undemned Labs should be ashamed of themselves. I think that their company is only 55 people, but at the same token, they are backed by Microsoft. So this game, this isn't an arcade game. This was pitched to us as a AAA title, and it should have had AAA money and development behind it, and it didn't. And fine, I'm still enjoying it, and it's going to show up in my top 10 of 2018. There's no doubt about it. But for someone to, like you're saying, lose a character that you put so much time into because of a glitch is just, if it was a character that you can just restart and it's not a problem, I still don't give you the pass, but I kind of tip my cap to you. But in a game that stands strong on the whole permadeath aspect, that's unacceptable. And you can't. There's no defending that. I don't care how much you like the game or you hate the game. There's no way to get in front of that and say, okay, hold on just a second. It happens. The games are released with bugs. Well, when a game has been in development for over 4 years and has Microsoft money backing, it should launch perfectly.
They also had a multiplayer beta before. Like they had like some testing, so there should have been people that seen that the game had these issues and the connection issues. Because if those issues were in the final version, they were obviously in that version. They should have delayed it. They should have done something to give the game extra development time. They should have had that beta a lot sooner. Yes. Like the fact that it looked to me like they did it like as a demo. You know, when games have betas a week before, 2 weeks before, it's like there were demos at that point. You're not able to make significant changes or improvements to your game in the
not that close to launch. There's just no way. Absolutely.
Like, I love what Halo 5 Guardian's done. I know this happened because of the Master Chief Collection and all the issues that had, that they went ahead and they gave Halo 5 a multiplayer beta a year in advance to the game's release. So they had plenty of times to make sure that when that game released, it didn't have any of the connection issues or length of time it took to find the game. They took that to heart, and we know now that they're planning on fixing the Master Chief Collection with an Xbox One X update and stuff like that. But I wish games would release their betas and stuff like that a lot sooner, because they do need time, because no game is perfect. Every game comes out, you're going to find bugs and glitches. It's just what happens. Games these days, they're massive in size. They just, like, games demand so much now. They need it to be a certain amount of time for people, or else it's not worth their money. They just need so much stuff in it. Multiplayer aspects for some people. Like, there's bound to be some sort of issue, either game breaking or not. They either have smaller issues, like a bunch of them, or a few game breaking issues. So they need to get ahead, talk to their companies like Microsoft, EA, or whatever, whoever the publisher is, and be like, if it's a multiplayer game, we need to release beta, and we need it to be a few months, like 4 months before the release of the game, because we're serious about this actually being a good game. We don't want it to be just a money grab, and the game's going to have issues. And if we do a beta, an open beta where more people can play the game, we'll get the most feedback and be able to have the best product at release. And for single player games, maybe it is time to bring back demos or something like that. Bring out an unfinished version of a level, or as finished as it can be, let people run around, test the gameplay, see if they can do something to break it, so that way they can fix it before release. I know single-player games would be harder to let people play for free, but I'm sure there'll be a way to do a free trial or something like that in 2018. Like, they're just, every game has bugs and glitches. I'm not going to shit on a game just because it has bugs and glitches. It just depends on how far and how many, like how bad they are, like game breaking, and how many minor bugs are there. It's just unfortunate that Decay does have a few game breaking ones, like with the characters. Like, if your character died, like if my character died in that scenario when the button prompts and all that weren't working, and if that happened to someone else and they stopped playing the game, I couldn't tell them, oh well, you're missing out, oh that was a bad choice, because I couldn't, like, I'd understand. I'd be like, yeah, man, that really does suck. I'd understand why you have a negative approach or anything towards the game, because you put your time, like everyone has so much to do, you know, depending, even if you're still in school, doing leaving cert or whatever, working like 50 hours a week, just having a really stressful life at the moment, you're putting your time into this game. You put 20 plus hours or more into a character, and it just gets taken away because a game breaking issue was in a game that you either pay $29.99 for, or you got a Game Pass subscription solely for the purpose of this game, and then your time was just wasted over one glitch.
Yeah, you know what? That's, you see, and you hit on a really, really fantastic point. Man, you sometimes knock it out of the park, dude. I got to tell you, time. Your time as a gamer seems to be, again, depending on who you talk to, not included in the conversation. And I think that is where we lose a little bit in translation, because your time is important. Because we got to remember, then again, I'm no mathematician, folks. Yeah, I'm just a retired guy that likes talking about games, but there are only 24 hours in a day. There are only 7 days in a week. And in some months there's 31 days, right? So, there's gaming, but there's also real life. You have mortgages, you have car payments, you have fiancés, boyfriends, girlfriends, school, right? Jobs. And you can't tell anyone that if they put 15, 20, 35 hours into a game that they absolutely love, and because of a glitch, the main character that was the leader that you took all this time to create, to make their story, dies because of a glitch. You know, that excitement, those 35 hours are gone, and you cannot rewind time and get that back. So well done, dude. That is very well said. And I think
Like
that
certain people, like they'd either, I don't know if there's any school midterms or anything going out now, but someone, if they've been really looking forward to this game, like one of the most anticipated games, like I was really looking forward to this game. So if you're someone that booked time off work, and due to this like game having issues, like the time that you took off solely to play this game because it was your most anticipated game of the year and you didn't know what to do with your holiday days, so you're like, might as well book it now. Like I could feel what that would really piss people off. Like time, like I said, there is so many games now. Free games, like free to play has blown up. You have Fortnite on basically every device. Other free to play games on the Xbox, Warframe, just in it, Smite. Like
yes,
there's actually a lot. I'm trying to think, but I don't want to go on forever because I could actually go on for like a few minutes names because there's that many free to play games, Killer Instinct, blah.
no,
So yeah,
absolutely. Listen, this is a conversational podcast, so you know, please talk away. We're under no time limit, and I think that the folks that are listening, you know, are probably enjoying it. At least I hope that they're enjoying it.
yeah. Well, we hope you are, guys. So yeah, there's so many free games, like, and for anyone that got Game Pass, like, say if you got your console the other day, you got Game Pass, you already have access to 100 games. Why should you play State of Decay 2 above Halo 5 Guardians that's in it, Gears of War 4, Halo Wars 2? There's a bunch of games,
tons of
even
them.
classic games, Banjo-Kazooie, for some nostalgia if you grew up playing it or just heard great things. There's lots of games already in Game Pass. Yes, State of Decay is the newest, hottest release. But if you're someone that's not, you don't care about that shit, like you don't care about playing the newest game or anything like that, why would you be looking at Game Pass and be like, why would I play this game? It just looks like a game that's full of bugs and glitches.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to say it's full of bugs and glitches because you're not going to be running into a, unless you're really unlucky, because I'm not going to say it's not possible. The way bugs and glitches work is the game is different for everyone. Like, there are people that defend this game and say, like, I seen someone in the chat, I think it was MK, I'm not looking at the chat right now. They said that they played 50 hours and haven't run into any bugs. But that's just the way gaming is. That's why it's hard to find these issues. Because you can play through a game and have 100 hours and not run into any glitch. It's rare, but possible. Not everyone runs into these bugs and glitches. That's why the developers they don't always find them, because sometimes they're rare, and sometimes people are just unlucky and get a lot of them. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't defend the game because you didn't have any issues. If you're seeing that other people in your community that are playing this game are saying and have to prove from either gameplay clips, you are aware that this game is not perfect. So it's up to us to give feedback, not in a super negative way where we're just like, oh, fuck you, Undead Labs. How did you do this? Like, the best way we can do things is by sending in the clips, telling them that there's issues here, and not just like, because like things slip by. Like, I know some people are saying there's so many bugs and glitches, how did this slip by? Like, there's actually more. Like, but the game is released now. We're going to get past that, and our job would be to help if we want the game to improve by sending the clips and letting them know where the issues are, and just there's no point getting super angry about it at this point if you like the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, here's the thing. Again, we can't tell you what to like and what not to like, and we certainly can't. I will certainly never defend the game for having bugs. And let's say, again, I've been very fortunate. I've put 35 hours deep, and I had only two. One was the incident with the car flipping that nearly cost me my main character, which of course I was pissed. And the other time I switched to another character and was stuck in a shelf. And I had to use the feature where you can, rewind time, like ask for help and you kind of get out of it. So that I've only had two, but again, I have not been playing this game multiplayer. I am a single player guy. I will play multiplayer. If you're in the chat or you're listening, you hear the show later on. My gamer tag is MrBooMStickXL on live. hit me up. There's been a few people like Sub-Zero tried to reach out to me yesterday. Unfortunately, when he did, I was running out the door, and when I jumped back on, he was off. Great guy. Had played numerous games with him online. Mooch, I know, reached out to me to play once before, but I was watching Netflix with the wife, and listen, life is life. You got to give the wife her attention as well, and but you know what? Overall, I want to. I have to. Shout out several people in the chat. I mean, first of all, considering this is a pop-up podcast, something new. I have 32 people watching, and the chat has been completely on fire. So I just want to shout out a few people. Of course, good friend of mine, Jago, Big Germ, MK48, Try Hard Fan, a friend that I grew up with, Brett Murphy. We have some stories. S. McLean, thank you very much. Sin Show Elite is in the chat. Thank you again for popping up. It's really greatly appreciated. Noof Nukem. Big friend of mine, big fan of his work. Check out his channel. Matty Beast, always showing up in the chat to show his support. Graphic God, good personal friend of mine. Let's see who else we have here, because I don't want to forget anybody. I'm going to try and name everyone. And if I forget you, I do greatly appreciate. I do apologize. Good friend, personal friend of mine, Jay the Destroyer, who was on my first show. I'm not sure if my brother Neo Mental popped in for a minute. Darth Vicious, good friend of mine, great community member. JD Gamer. Let's see who else is here. Let me get back to the bottom part of the chat and see the Doctor 4K, Moonwalker 925. What's going on, my friend? I'm always talking to him on DM. Brujo X. Has been showed up in many of my shows. Thank you for the support, my brother. Hippie Crusher, DBG. I cannot thank you guys enough. I am blessed in the way where I have been given a voice thanks to, of course, Mooch, who I always, pay him homage because he opened the door for me. Mel from Coffee Casuals and Consoles. She was amazing enough to give me a spot on her show, which I made plenty of friends, and I really enjoyed that show. But more than that, it's this community. It's these people that show up in the chat that I have to say a big giant thank you to, because none of us would have a voice if they didn't show up in the chat to listen. If someone didn't click on the link to say, I want to listen to that show, you wouldn't have a show. So a big round of applause and a standing ovation for the chat and for this entire YouTube and Twitter community that we're a part of, Dean. It has been so amazing. So what we're going to do is we're running up just about an hour, and I don't want to take too much of anyone's time. So what I want to do is I want to get, this was going to be a discussion and an official review. Dean, I'm going to go to you first because you're my guest. If you were working for one of these big so-called places like the IGNs and the GameSpots and the Kotakus, and you were tasked to review this game, what would be your official review of State of Decay 2 for the Xbox One?
Okay. Well, first, I'm going to start off by saying, if you are someone that has played the original State of Decay, regardless if it's on the 360 or the Xbox One version, the game State of Decay 2 does have improvements. The game isn't probably the jump that you're expecting it, like from sequel to sequel, because it doesn't look much better. I don't really care about graphics, I'm just being honest. So the gameplay is very similar, but they smoothened it out, they improved it. The game does have 3 maps, so I don't know, it depends on you if you prefer these 3 maps over the original map. So far, I haven't run into any issues, and I've only played on one of them, and I liked it so far. Like I said, the gameplay is better. Frame rate has been smooth for me. I haven't noticed any big drops, even after car explosions. Everything seems to be smooth, but I'm not Digital Foundry or anything like that. I don't have anything hooked up to my Xbox with a frame rate counter telling me. But if I didn't notice any dramatic slowdown, I didn't notice any dramatic slowdown. The game is hard, and it can be easy, but you don't want to get cocky like me and be like, this is easy, because you can be punished. And
yes, severely.
Punishment in this game you might need a box of tissues. Let's just say that. You might be upset, you know, a certain character that you got attached to over a certain amount of time. It could be a long amount of time, depending on how long this character has been alive for. But if you take this game, not like if you take it lightly and not serious, you might end up in a situation that I said. You might go out, underestimate the power of a juggernaut, and he's not going to be happy that you're underestimating him. So he's going to have to prove himself, and then he's going to rip you in two. So just a little heads up. For the multiplayer, like I said, it does have a whole tethering system. You can't go as far as you want, but like I said, it is very generous. It's very generous with how far you can go. It's actually pretty far. But if you're playing this with friends, you're gonna want to be as close as possible, communicating and doing it together, because that's the co-op experience. You're not gonna playing a co-op isn't. I'm all the way at one end of the map and you're all the way at the other. Isn't this cool? Yeah, because then you can't see what you're what you are doing. You aren't really working together. It'd be cool to have the option for people that want it, I guess. But for me, it doesn't bother me, and I like the co-op. Yes, it does have peer-to-peer. It doesn't have dedicated servers. We've already said that's a backstep from Microsoft for not entrusting Undead Labs or whatever the scenario was. This game should have had dedicated servers. They like to gloat about the power of the cloud and their servers, and how much the fact that they aren't supporting one of their own games with dedicated servers is a bad sign. And I don't agree with it, Microsoft. If you're bringing out a big game and you want to push it with your Game Pass or whatever you're doing, give the game dedicated servers, because it just makes it look bad and puts a bad look at the game from the start.
Yeah, I agree. So if you had an add to a number to this, what would be your end all numbered review?
Okay, so to wrap it all up, like I said, the game does have improvements. It is fun. You can have such an amazing time playing a solo. Nighttime is actually scary. So for me to put a number on it, the first thing I'll have to say is you are going to want to know that this game does have bugs and glitches. Regardless of what the score is, it's up to you to choose. Do you want to play the game now with these issues, where you know you can run into a game-breaking bug where you're going to lose your character? As this game stands now, I think it's a solid 7, or like around the 7. But when the game is patched, I say it's 7.5 to an 8. Like, the game in its current state does have issues, and the issues that it does have, even though you could be lucky and have 100 hours and not experience any of them, it will only take one game-breaking bug that will cause you to lose your character, that will make you completely despise or hate this game for some people after wasting so much time just for your character to get glitched and killed. Stuff like that shouldn't happen in 2018. So right now, a 7 out of 10 with the knowledge that you're going to be playing a game that could fuck you up. And as long as you know that and you know what you're playing, then I wish you the best in the game and to run into no issues at all. And hopefully Undead Labs fix this ASAP.
Nice. Listen, I was actually just answering Darth Vicious. He said that I know how to pronounce the Spanish words. Not sure if everyone knows this. My wife is Puerto Rican. So she's teaching me Spanish. Even though I can't speak it that fluent as of yet, I am learning. My heritage, my family are immigrants. They migrated to the United States from Madrid, Spain. So I have a Spanish history. So that's why I know how to pronounce the words. My grandma, my abuela taught me. So if anyone's interested, yes, I can speak a little Spanish, but not much. And okay, so now, sorry, I didn't mean to kind of change topics. I just wanted to make mention of that because I know he mentioned it in the chat. If I were reviewing the game, this is how it would go. Basically, after 35 long, enjoyable hours, and that's the thing, I've really, really enjoyed my time with the game, and I would give it a solid, absolutely solid 7.5, because unfortunately it does have some glitches. Again, I did not put as much time into the first one, but I'm loving the obviously the part two. But if it had dedicated servers, I think I would have handedly given it a solid 8.0, because I think that the game does do enough new stuff from the original. I think it, you got to remember they changed the graphics engines. This is now running on Unreal 4 as opposed to Unreal 3. So there's more detail in the characters' faces. There's more detail in the vehicles. There's certainly more detail in the environment. I happen to really, really dig the direction that they took. I just wish it. I don't think it could have taken another delay. That's that's the thing. I think that if this was delayed again, it would have never gotten out of its own way whenever it was released. I'm sorry that it didn't release perfect like it should have after 4 or 5 years in development. And Microsoft should have known better. They should have done better for Undead Labs. And I understand that Undead Labs is, they're an indie developer and they do their own hiring. I absolutely get that. But someone at Microsoft should have seen that this game was going to have some issues and said, okay, look, guys, we're going to send you in some help to kind of just move things along, because we need this to be, we need this to come out good and as polished as possible. Now, I'm not sure if that happened behind the scenes and we're not privy to that information, but I don't think the head of Undead Lab Studios would not have taken help from Microsoft. Again, that's just my personal opinion. So I don't know, but yes, patches are coming. There's been several big patches. Like I said, like it, love it, had a great time with it, or, had a horrible time, lost a major character, and you never want to go back. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And that's the one thing I've seen a lot on Twitter. Someone will give something a number or say something, and then someone will tell them, no, well, you're wrong. Well, hold on just a second. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. And just because your opinion differs from the person you're talking to on Twitter or you're answering in a text doesn't make them or you right or wrong. It just makes it that you each have your own opinion. Like I said, I've been very lucky where my 35 hours didn't end in tragedy, where because of a glitch, I lost a character. And to be completely honest, this might be a whole other conversation, but someone like, for instance, a very good personal friend of mine who I absolutely adore her is Luca. And she played the game and she had a lot of problems, and she's not a fan. And why isn't she a fan? Well, because she had a lot of bugs and a lot of incidents where the game wasn't fun for her. So her opinion, obviously I get where she's coming from, and I can't tell her that she's wrong.
It goes back to the whole worth your time. If she doesn't want to put in lots of hours into a game that is constantly screwing up her gameplay and her session, like, you have other games, everyone has other games. If you have Game Pass, through Game Pass, like I said, you already have the 100+ games. If you are limited with your time, you're not going to put that into a game that is broken for you, and you can lose your save, your character at any point, because there's other games to play and you're just going to move on.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, look, again, time, a lot of people forget that, like, for instance, you take me. I have a lot of time to game, especially during the day. I don't game at night because that time is spent with my wife. She works still, and you have to manage your time correctly. You have to find time for gaming. I have to find time to manage my channel, and of course, real life gets in the way all the time. So there's a fine balance, and I think everyone's time is very valuable. And if you are someone who put a significant time into this game and then it was ruined for you by a bug, like we discussed very earlier, that is absolutely unacceptable. And I really hope that Undead Labs and Microsoft get to the bottom of this, fix this to a way where we don't hear horror stories, and if someone does die, it's because of something that they did, not because the game decided to wig out at the last minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the show. I want to thank everyone for showing up to the first episode of the pop-up podcast. And today, of course, we discussed in depth and gave an official review of Undead Labs' State of Decay 2. You know, thank you so much, Dean, for taking the time, because like I said, I did try to reach out to a lot of people, and unfortunately most people are working. Thankfully, you were able to respond. You got to tell people where they can find you, because I don't think you have as much followers as you should. Your channel is fantastic. I think that you do a lot of different things. I like your Yu-Gi-Oh and your Dragon Ball Z reviews. You do movie reviews, you do trailer reviews, you do stuff with your fiance, which I think is fantastic. Really unique channel. I think everyone, if you're not following Dean, you should definitely give him a follow after this show. Tell everyone where they could find you.
Well, YouTube, Creating Beyond Limits. You can click on my name in the chat, or I'll drop a link in there in a minute if you want to go over and check. I do, like Boom said, I do a bunch of things from gaming videos, gaming reviews, movie reviews, reaction videos, recommendation videos, like my top 5 something. So, like, I like making content that I enjoy watching. As people say, you make what you like, and I like doing all the stuff that I do, and that's why I do it. I do it because it's fun, and it's just like the community. I love interacting with people, and on Twitter, and gaming has always been like, it's the biggest part of me. It doesn't probably show that directly on my channel, because sometimes I don't have enough time to do a gaming video, so I'll do a reaction. It depends on what, like, my time is limited. So if a new trailer for like Jurassic Park drops, I'm like, I totally want to watch that, because if I want to do a reaction, like, I'm really bad. Like, there's lots of trailers that come out that I don't react to, because I end up watching it in my own time, because I'm so weak. I'm like, I can't wait. I need to do it now, because I know I'm not going to have any time for like the next 2 days. So like, I'm really bad at that stuff, because like anyone else, you know, I'm a nerd. I like all that shit. So gaming videos, I just recently done a review for Dark Souls 1. Unfortunately, it's not the remaster. I started this series on my channel called Better Late Than Ever, and anything that's over a year old, regardless of it's a game, movie, show, I'll do that. Counts as a Better Late Than Ever from my series. So I started off with my review for Titanfall 2 because I was extremely late to that game, and I've heard so many great comments about the single player on that game. So I was like, you know what? I have to play it. One day I turned it on, because, like, you know yourself, when you have so many games in your backlog, you're just constantly scrolling through all your games, and you're like, I don't know what to play. And sometimes it's really hard to just, because, you know, tutorials and stuff like that really put you off when you want to start a new game, because you know for the fact that you're going to be doing a tutorial for like the first half an hour or something like that, so you're not always in the mood. So it's finally like, okay, I'll play Titanfall 2, and that game I thought was amazing, and I was like, I have to talk about it, because I know this game didn't do extremely well. So even if my channel, like, even if my video got 1 view or anything like that, and that one person was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, like, that would make me happy, because I just like talking about Titanfall 2 after I played it. And with Dark Souls, I was like, I love that series, so I have to talk about it. And I do plan on doing a review for the remaster. I just thought it made sense to have a review for the first, like, the original version of the game before I talk about the remaster. So that way people would know, like, how I am with the original comparing it to the remaster.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just reactions, gaming, and I think I'm a nice enough dude. I'm not gonna be a dick to you. So I do appreciate anyone that likes my content and stuff like that. And I just love talking gaming. And like I said, you putting up that tweet there, like, I was like recording my own review for State Decay, and I was like, holy shit, Boom's actually doing something, and I'm free. He's free. This doesn't happen often.
No, that's why it's called Boom's Pop-Up Podcast. I think I'm gonna
literally popped up, and I was like, yay!
Yeah, you know what? Again, I like doing my show on Fridays, Breakfast with Boom. But I'm always trying to invent new things to keep the channel fresh. And I enjoy entertaining other people, and I'm glad that there are certain people in the community that really like what I have to say, and that really does mean a lot to me. So once again, CBL, thank you so much for popping on. We do greatly appreciate it. If anyone's interested, Breakfast with Boom this Friday morning at 10 a.m. is going to have an incredible amount of people. I sent out a tweet. I hope you show up. It's going to be one of two big E3 shows that I'm going to have right before the big show, which is that starts the 10th of June. And once again, thank everybody for popping up in the chat. You got to hear a little bit of my Spanish heritage and who I'm married to. I didn't expect that, but hey, listen, I'm always willing to share. And have a great day, everyone. Thanks again for popping in. I really appreciate it.